Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. My dear students, today we are going to see chapter number 4, documents related to formation of a company. Now, to form a company, what all documents are required, we are going to see in this chapter in detail. See, there are three important documents which are required, that is Memorandum of Association, Articles of Association and Prospectus. Today we are going to study Memorandum of Association. See, at the time of incorporation of a company. Now, what is incorporation? See, incorporation is the legal process used to form a company. Okay, to form a company you have to follow certain legal process and procedures, that is known as incorporation. So now, at the time of forming a company, following documents have to be submitted to the registrar of companies. Now, registrar of companies is a office where this ROC deals with Companies Act 2013. Now, the two important documents here are Memorandum of Association and Articles of Association. See, Memorandum of Association. Now, the most important thing which you are supposed to know about Memorandum of Association is it's a primary document of a company, first of all. Second, it states the purpose for which the company is formed. What work company is going to do, it states that. And then it describes the range of activities a company can undertake. What work company is going to do, what all activities will be included. Okay, so these are certain highlighted points you are supposed to remember regarding Memorandum of Association. See, the Memorandum of Association of a company is one of the most important document and it must be drafted with care. Secondly, as we all seen, it has to be filed with the registrar of companies, right? And apart from this, see, it is the base of the company. It is also said in company law, no company can be incorporated or can be formed without Memorandum of Association. Coming to the definition for Memorandum of Association, according to Section 2 of 56 of the Companies Act 2013, Memorandum of Association of a company as originally framed or as altered from time to time in pursuance of any provision of any previous company law or of this act. Now see, Memorandum of Association of a company as originally framed or drafted when the company was formed, or as altered from time to time or changed from time to time in pursuance of means in fulfillment of any provision of previous company law or of this act. Whenever there is a change in any of the previous company law or the current company law, the memorandum of the company is also changed according to that provision, that law or that act. So in short, you can say that the above definition refers to Memorandum of Association as a legal document. See, it's a legal document that must be prepared by every company as per the provisions of the Companies Act 2013. Now, the Companies Act 2013 has laid down certain provisions, has laid down certain rules and regulations to frame that. So, company should frame it in that manner only. Now, there are certain features given for the same, that is Memorandum of Association. See, it's repeated again, the most important. It's a primary document of a company, most important primary document of a company, which states, which gives its aims and objective. What are the aims and objectives of a company are written in the Memorandum of Association. The second feature you have is it describes and regulates. It describes, it shows and then it regulates the relationship between the company and outsiders. Outsiders, when I say, it could be shareholders, it could be creditors, suppliers, investors, etc. So now there is a relationship between the outsiders and the company. So this memorandum of association describes the relationship, how company is going to deal with the outsiders. Third point you have got as every company needs to prepare its memorandum of association at the time of incorporation and submit it along with the application for incorporation to the ROC. Now, every company needs to prepare, as we have seen, it's compulsory for every company to prepare memorandum of association at the time of incorporation only, and the same should be submitted to the ROC. Now, it is prepared by the promoters and needs to be signed by minimum 7% in case of public company, 2 persons in case of private company, and 1 person in case of 1-person company. That means, see, who are the promoters? First of all, promoter is an institution or persons who come up with an idea to start a company or to start a business. They are the very first one who gets this thought of forming a company. So now this memorandum should be signed by those persons, and in public company you require 7, in private company 2, and in 1-person company 1. Coming to the fifth one, it contains following clauses. Now see, there are 6 clauses given here which we are going to study now only after the features, but as of now you are supposed to see the name clause, the address clause, the objects clause, the liability clause, the capital clause, the association or subscription clause. We are going to see all this in detail. Now coming to the 6th feature, as it defines the nature and character of the company, it is not easy to alter the clauses. Specific rules and provisions to be followed to alter each clause. That means what all that is written in the memorandum of association in the above clauses, that cannot be altered, that cannot be changed. And still, if company wants to change, there are certain rules, specific rules and provisions are there which company has to follow. Now, memorandum of association cannot contain anything contrary to the provisions of the Companies Act 2013. That means it should not contain anything which is not allowed or not mentioned in the Companies Act 2013. Now, any act done by the company which goes beyond the powers of memorandum will be ultra vires, that is, it will be invalid. That means what all activities or the job of the company you have mentioned in the memorandum of association, the powers you have mentioned, powers of the company, if company goes beyond those powers, that will be invalid. It would be ultra vires. Coming to the 9th point, it is a public document. Most important, it's a public document, and anyone who wants to enter into a contract with the company should have knowledge about the contents of the company's memorandum of association. That means, see, the outsiders we saw on the previous slide, shareholders, creditors, investors, it's a public document. So that means all the outsiders should have knowledge about all the clauses and what everything is there in the memorandum of association. Coming to the last feature of memorandum of association, Companies Act 2013 has prescribed the format, a proper way to draft memorandum of association. To draft means to write how a company is supposed to form memorandum of association, and in those forms there are table A, table B, C, D and E for preparing memorandum. Now these tables are there for different types of companies. Now see, table A, memorandum of association of a company limited by shares. Table B, memorandum of association of a company limited by guarantee. So now see, there are different types of companies, and accordingly company is supposed to prepare or form their memorandum of association. Now see here, ROC, as we have seen, the Registrar of Companies is an office under the Ministry of Corporate Affairs that deals with the administration of the Companies Act, the proper administration, looking into the matters of the company and looking into the Companies Act 2013. It is all done by ROC, Registrar of Companies. And then you have got promoter. See, a corporate promoter is a firm or person who does the preliminary work, starting work incidental to the formation of the company. So now, what all documentation procedures are there to form a company? This is performed by promoter. See, below it's written, a promoter is a person who assembles, gather the men, the money and the material into a going concern. Going concern means a company or a firm. Coming to the clauses of memorandum. See, you can either say clauses or contents of memorandum of association. So there are 6. The very first one is name clause. See, this clause mentions the name of the company. This part actually mentions the name of the company. What is the name of the company? A company is a legal entity distinct from members. We have seen a company has its identity by its name only. So it has to establish its identity, and the promoters choose a name for the company. So that name clause will indicate what is the name of the company. Okay. Now see, there are 3 important points related to the name clause. For a public limited company, we have already seen types of companies. So here, for a public limited company, the name of the company must have the word limited as the last word. See example, Tata Steel Limited. For the private limited company, the name of the company must have the words Private Limited as the last words. Example, POSCO India Private Limited. And in case of one person company, the words one person company must be mentioned in the name of the company, and it should be there in the bracket. Example, Smart Services Private Limited, in bracket you have got as one person company. Okay. Now see, if a company wants to alter, to change, to make a change in the name clause, company has to follow proper procedure. Coming to the second clause as the address clause, or I can even say registered office clause. Now see, the clause states the name of the state, I repeat, the name of the state in which the registered office of the company will be located. Let's say a company, the whole function of the company is going in Maharashtra, but the registered office is in another state. So the address clause will mention the state where the registered office is. See, every company must have its registered office within 30 days of its incorporation. As soon as the company is incorporated, within 30 days, company must have its registered office. Now see, a registered office is a must. As why a company should have its registered office? See, it establishes the domicile, location of the company, where the company is. It is the address to which all communications, notices, etc. will be sent. That means if government wants to have a correspondence, a communication with us, if government wants to send a letter to a company, government is going to send the same on the registered office address. The third point here is it's a place where all statutory books, records and documents of the company will be kept. That means all the important documents of the company will be kept at the registered office. And lastly, the address clause also indicates the jurisdiction of the court where cases can be filed by the company against other. It means that that particular place will come under which jurisdiction. This the address clause will decide. Coming to the third clause is the object clause. What is the object? See, this clause defines the objects for which a company is formed, why the company is formed, what work company is supposed to do. It indicates the range of activities a company can undertake, what all works company can do. See, it can do anything which is incidental to and consequential upon the objects specified in this clause. See, incidental means related to the main activity. Now company has decided certain activities to conduct. Now what all activities are related to achieve the goal will be incidental, and then you have got consequential. Consequential means resulting from the main activity. What will happen if this company is going to perform certain activity? What will happen? This is all it's allowed company can do. But lastly, company cannot enter or cannot have an object which is illegal, immoral, against the public policy, or in contravention, in opposition of the Companies Act or any other laws. Company cannot do any illegal work, immoral, or which is against the public policy. Coming to the fourth clause as the liability clause. See, this clause states the extent of liability, how much liability a member of a company has. Now see, company limited by shares, the name itself says, we have seen this type of company, company limited by shares. Here the liability of the member is limited only to the extent of amount unpaid on the face value of shares held by the member. See, we have already seen face value of shares is 10, but as of now you have paid only 5 to the company. You are now only liable for the remaining 5 to pay to the company. That is unpaid amount on the face value of the shares. Then you have got company limited by guarantee. In this, the amount which every member guarantees to pay towards the asset of the company at the time of winding up, or towards the cost or expenses at the time of winding up. That means the guarantee given by the member of that particular amount is only the liability of that particular member. And lastly, you have got unlimited liability company. See, the liability of its member is unlimited as the name itself suggests. Coming to the fifth one, the capital clause. Capital, money invested in the business. See, this clause states the amount of capital with which the company is registered and hence called as registered capital. Now, let's say company in its capital clause in the memorandum of association has stated that company is going to raise 10 crore rupees. Now, this 10 crore is the amount company is going to get in the whole of its lifetime. Now, let's say I have taken the permission for the amount that is 10 crores. But in the start, I have only utilized 5 crores. That means I still have the permission to raise more 5 crores for the company. See, this is the maximum capital which the company is authorized to raise. Now I have taken permission for 10 crores. That means that is my limit to raise capital. Hence it is also called as authorized capital. And if a company wants to issue more shares to raise more funds, and now if company wants to exceed the amount from this 10 crores, the company has to alter the capital clause. The company has to make change in the capital clause, and then company is going to raise more capital. Coming to the last and final clause for the memorandum of association, that is the association or subscription clause. Okay, in this clause, the subscribers to the memorandum, the persons who has subscribed, who has made a declaration stating that they are desirous of forming a company, they are ready to form a company, and they agree to a certain number of shares in the capital of a company. Okay, these are initially the promoters of the company. Now see, these promoters or the subscribers, they compulsorily has to sign the memorandum of association in the presence of at least one witness, and the subscriber has to put their name, address and occupation. In public company, at least 7 subscribers should be there. In private company, at least 2 subscribers should be there, and in one person company, 1 subscriber should be there. See, initially these subscribers are the promoters of the company. Okay, so there are 6 clauses in the memorandum of association which are supposed to remember. Memorandum of association, most important document of the company. See here, it's an example of MOA of Reliance Industries Limited. First clause, name of the company, Reliance Industries Limited, registered office, Maharashtra. What is the object here? To carry on the business of man-made fiber products of all kinds. Liability. Liability of members is limited. That means it's a limited liability company. Now see, capital, the amount is given how much capital a company can raise, and then associations, subscribers. There are 7 subscribers who initially hold the equity shares of the company. Now see here, their details are given, their name, address, number of shares holding, and who has got the witness for the same. So here this is an example for memorandum of association of Reliance Industries Limited. See here, just a quick glance, memorandum of association clauses, very important topic in this chapter. The very first one is name clause. See, it specifies the name of the company. Then you have got registered office clause. It denotes the state name. I'm making it very clear. State name where the company's registered office is situated. Second, object clause. It states the objectives of the company, what work company is going to do. Then liability clause. It specifies the liability of member of the company, how much a member is supposed to pay. And then capital clause. It specifies the details of capital proposed in company, how much permission you are going to take from the, follow the rule of the Companies Act and take it from the ROC. And the last one, subscription clause. It states the members subscribing along with their signature in the memorandum of association. With this, we come to the end of this topic, that is memorandum of association. Thank you.